Hello, and I'm Ryan from Tetra Football, and we'll do our game week 1 Premier League predictions. I'm Ryan. This is
Joe,
Thomas,
and George.
The first game of the week will be Crystal Palace versus Arsenal.
It's happening tonight, isn't it?
Yeah, only game of today.
Now I'm going to go for a 3-0 Arsenal victory.
It's convincing.
I mean, Jesus, I think he'll get a couple of goals and he could actually get all 3 for me, actually, you know.
Oh,
Yeah, for a Jesus hat-trick on the first day.
Yeah, I mean, it's bold, but
that's Crystal Palace.
if it
They're a solid unit.
Yeah, this isn't no Norwich.
if it comes off, I will look like a genius, so...
You ain't gonna look like a genius. What do you think, Joe?
I've gone for 2-0 to Arsenal, reluctantly, albeit. I think Crystal Palace do have a good counter-attack, but I think Arsenal overall are better, and I think Odegaard will score, and maybe Jesus too.
Yeah. And Tom, what do you think?
2-0 as well. As I just think Jesus is going to score both of them for this one. I think he's going to have a quality game, but I just don't think they're good enough to get 3 over a good Palace side.
Yeah, and do you know what? I'm going to give Palace a bit more of a chance. I'm going to go for 2-1. I think Jesus is probably the most likely to score, being the one striker in Arsenal's system, and I imagine someone like Xhaka, Smith Rowe or Martinelli, one of those players playing behind him to get the other goal. And for Palace, I can see Ben White giving away a silly penalty and Zaha probably putting it in the back of the net.
Well,
fair enough.
all of us thinking that
So
Arsenal will get
that's
a
an
goal.
Arsenal win for all of us. Yeah.
And I mean, the
Who's
next
the next
game up
fixture?
is
We've got Fulham v Liverpool.
the 12:30 kick-off, eh? I mean,
game tomorrow.
I think it will be Liverpool 4-0.
Okay.
I think Jurgen Klopp, he won't take any prisoners on the first day. He'll want to get his title campaign off to a strong start, and I think a Nunes goal, 2 Salah goals, and maybe even a Diaz goal.
Fair enough.
What do you think,
I'll
Joe?
go 3-0 to Liverpool. Originally I was thinking 4 or 5, but I think Fulham probably a little bit more motivated than that. Liverpool, of course, a very strong side, so yeah, 3-0.
And Tom?
For me, I've gone with 4-1. I just think they might get 1 goal, probably a lucky goal, if you might have a mistake in the defence, which will cause that. So.
Yeah, well, do you know what? I'm actually going to agree with Tom here, because as a Liverpool fan, I typically watch the games, and the opening fixture, we always seem to concede, especially against a newly promoted club. Like, I think 2 seasons ago it was 4-3 Leeds, can't remember last season's, but before that it was a 4-1 Norwich as well. There always seems to be 1 goal just let in. So I imagine maybe even Harry Wilson against his old club will put one in for Fulham, and for Liverpool, go for Nunes, Salah 2, and a Milner penalty at some point in the game.
Oh,
Right, we've got Bournemouth v Aston Villa next. Should be a tight game.
I'm going to go 2-1 to Aston Villa. I think Danny Ings and Philippe Coutinho for Villa, and I believe these players just look too clinical to not score. And Bournemouth, I think it'll be the centre-back, Lloyd Kelly, their captain. I think from a corner, probably.
Maybe. I've actually gone for the same score there, 2-1 to Aston Villa. Again, I think Coutinho is probably going to run right. Bournemouth, though, they do have a bit of fighting spirit, especially coming up, and I think they'll get themselves at least 1 goal, whether it be, in any circumstance, penalty or counter-attack, whatever.
For me, I'm going to go with 3-1. I just think they're going to score quite a few goals, and as you said, I think Philippe Coutinho is just going
3-1 to
run
Villa.
right, really. So, yeah.
So 3-1 to Villa for Tom. I think I'm agreed with those, so it's going to be quite a close game, but I'm going to go 1-0 Villa, because they brought in Kamara, who makes the midfield more solid, and they've also got Diego Carlos, who is just a great centre-back, really, and him partnering Konza or Mings should be brilliant for them, and I don't see them conceding against Bournemouth. I don't really see a brilliant attacking threat in that squad, so I think they'll be able to keep a clean sheet and probably just steal a goal late on after Bournemouth sort of hold them back. And the goal scorer, I'll go for Ollie Watkins.
Well, Leeds
Alright.
United versus Wolves
Let's
is
go for
next
that
for
one.
Leeds.
Leeds v Wolves.
Well, I want to hear your opinion first.
I'm going to go
please, Joe.
for 1-1 for this one.
Well,
I just think Leeds are probably going to be good this season. I don't know if you saw the predictions, but I went for them to finish 9th, which was very bold. I think Wolves, they're a defensive team, but they can score as well. It's never going to be a high-scoring game of Wolves, really, especially with Bruno Large's tactics employed. I reckon 1-1. Probably probably Jimenez to score for Wolves and Bamford for Leeds.
Tom, who do you
I'm
think's
going to
going to win
go
this
with
one?
2-1 Leeds. I just think of the transfer they brought in, I think it's going to really help the side out. And Wolves are still a quality side, but I just don't think they have what it takes to beat Leeds, really. So.
Ryan, what do you think?
Well, this one is definitely the hardest one so far. But I think Leeds 2-1 over Wolves. I think Bamford will get both goals, and for Wolves, I think it's just going to be Jimenez for me. What about you, George?
Yeah, well, we don't seem to have been backing Wolves yet so far, and for me this is a very weird game because under Marsh, Leeds are actually somewhat similar to Bielsa. They're a high energy team still, but Wolves obviously a bit of a low energy team. They kill the game. They're a great defensive unit, and I'm actually going to put for a Wolves 1-0 win because they're solid at the back, and Leeds reinforcements, I haven't seen that many actually in the attacking aspects of the pitch. I've seen midfield and defensive improvements, but not really any like up top, and Bamford gets injured and he's coming back from an injury, so I'm not sure he'll be able to score. So, and I'm not convinced that all the new signings will gel in that first game, so I'm going to go for a Wolves 1-0 win with probably Pedro Neto, probably their best attacking threat, scoring.
Alright, Newcastle v Nottingham Forest. I think that's going to be a very interesting game, seeing Forest, of course, in their first bit of action in the Premier League for a very long time. But I'm gonna go bold here and say 4-1 to Newcastle. Originally I was thinking it might be tight, but now I think Newcastle
Goals galore.
I think Newcastle are going to be energised this season, and it's going to start here for them 4-1.
Ryan, what do you think?
I mean, that's definitely too many goals for me. I think it'll be, 3-0 to Newcastle. I think.
Can't say 4-1's too many goals and pick one team to win 3-0.
Well, no, because 2 more goals is quite a lot in the Premier League because they're quite tight games. But 3:00 kickoff, this could definitely be one of those that you want to watch through an illegal stream, which we don't promote. But if you do, you do. But Forest.
Or on Sky Sports.
Waffling.
Well, you can't watch any on Sky Sports.
Well, you can if you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stop waffling.
3:00 games, you can't watch them on Sky Sports.
On Saturdays, no.
Oh, yeah.
Ryan, do you want to stop waffling, please?
But Forest, I think, they brought in Lingard, but he's not going to get a goal on his debut for me. I think Newcastle, their talent's just too much. I think Callum Wilson, hat-trick. Come on, Wilson.
You seem to back Callum Wilson a lot in these videos.
Yeah, you love
And
him.
Tom, what do you think for this
Okay,
game?
I'm going 2-1. I know,
To
but
who?
to Forest. It's going to be a surprise. Because I just think the Forest side is quite underrated. I don't think they'll do as well as people may think, but I still think they're going to do quality this season, so I think they're going to beat Newcastle.
Yeah, and for me, I'm actually going to go for a fiery 2-2 draw between the clubs. I think that these will probably be the two most energised clubs in the Premier League next season, obviously with the takeover for Newcastle and Forest being back in the league for the first time in don't know how many years, but it's been a while. As they're a massive club and they should be in the Premier League. And I think the goal scorers for Forest will be Iwanui, the new signing. He's pretty much built for the Premier League in my opinion. And also Brennan Johnson, their young Welsh winger. And for Newcastle, I'll back Callum Wilson to get one, and also think someone like Botman maybe from a corner on his debut. That'd be an interesting goal to be scored, so 2-2.
Right, we've got Tottenham v Southampton, final 3:00 kickoff tomorrow. I'm going to go 3-1 to Spurs on that one. I think Southampton always score against us, but I think that, Kane, Son, maybe Kulusevski as well, get a goal. And, 3-1.
Well, I think it's going to be much tighter with a 1-0 victory for Tottenham Hotspur. Harry Kane getting his Golden Boot campaign off to not a flying start, but a steady start for him. I just think Southampton, they just don't have an attacking threat to really get into that Tottenham defence and break through, and I think they're just too solid. Tom, who do you think?
3-0 Spurs. I think the goals are going to be Kane, Kulusevski and Son. I just think they've got a cracking attack, and I don't think Southampton really have the attacking threat to score against Spurs, really.
Yeah, and for me, it's an interesting game because obviously Southampton have improved their squad a lot from last season, and I think if they start Bazunu in that game, then we can look at quite a close game, as I think he's a brilliant keeper and we'll probably keep him in it. But without him, I think we'll probably see a really good performance from Aribo from Southampton, but I think overall Tottenham's quality is too much and it'll probably be 2-0 with just the classic goal scorers for Tottenham, Kane and Son.
Alright, we got Everton v Chelsea, so Chelsea fans should kick us off.
I mean, we've all said Everton probably to be relegated this year. I just think...
Did we?
No, not everyone said that. You're waffling again.
That wasn't just me.
You're not just you, but you're waffling again. Not
Yeah,
everyone
but-
said that.
Most people don't think they'll do well, and I think first game of the season they won't do well. I think 3-0 to Chelsea. Sterling to get 2 and set up Havertz. What about you, Tom?
3-1. I think
To who?
to Chelsea. Chelsea are going to get 1. And there's going to be 2. Havertz will score 2. Sterling will get 1. That's what I think is going to happen.
I'm going to go for 2-0 to Chelsea. I think Everton don't have the spirit to fight against Tuchel's side, despite their kind of complications with the players that want to leave. I think that Chelsea will be too strong for them 2-0.
Yeah, and for me, this could be my prediction because I'm biased of not liking Everton, but I'm going to go for a 4-0 thumping for Chelsea. I think the new signing
I'll take
Sterling,
that.
he'll get on the score sheet. Havertz probably, and I think probably even Reece James, he scores quite a lot, and the final goal, probably a Jorginho penalty as well. Just a complete performance from Chelsea. They'll defend well. I'm not sure Everton will threaten much, and I think towards the later parts of the game, they'll just fall apart when they're not really getting out their own half.
Right, we got 3 very interesting Sunday games, and it starts with Leicester City versus Brentford.
Leicester. You know, going bold. 2-0 Brentford.
Ooh,
That's interesting.
okay.
I just think
Why do you think that?
Schmeichel's left, hasn't he? And I think Danny Ward, the Welsh goalkeeper, not really Prem standard for me. I think that's the main reason. And I think Jamie Vardy, he'll be distracted by offers to leave the club. And I think
He's not. Who's coming in for him? Who's trying to buy
Manchester
Vardy?
United and Chelsea, there's many transfer rumours speculating his
We're
career.
waffling.
No, there are
I'm
rumours.
not going to discount it because it might be.
There are actually rumours, and I'm sure many of you know. I think that's just too much of a distraction to focus on Leicester.
Okay, I'm going to go slightly more nice to Leicester.
Reasonable.
Despite my 15th prediction. I'm going to go 1-1 for these two sides. I think Brentford... Nah, actually, that sounds wrong, but I'm going to stick with it. 1-1. Brentford aren't very good anymore since losing Ericsson. But I think that Leicester are not just great either, really.
I mean, losing their god tier captain and keeper Schmeichel, I mean, they can't be that good, can they?
I think, don't know, Tielemans will score for Leicester, and for Brentford, Tony maybe, penalty maybe. Not
Tom, who do you have in this game?
1-0 Leicester, and I think Harvey Barnes is going to score the goal.
No,
I
okay.
believe.
Yep, and for me, I'm not too sure about the scoreline in this game because I'm not convinced Brentford will do as well. I feel like they're going to suffer a bit from second season syndrome, but they still got Tony, and I reckon a defensive mistake like from Soyuncu will probably allow Tony to score a penalty or just an easy goal, and I think like Joe, it'll also be 1-1. I reckon Vardy will probably score at the other end, just like the man he is. He'll always put down some team when they're feeling hopeful.
Alright, so probably the most interesting game of the weekend. We've got Man United v Brighton. It's going to be a tough one. Who's going to start?
I'll start on this one.
Okay.
I think Man United will win 2-0. As a Brighton fan myself, I'm not too confident in the side. As if Cucurella, since he's gone to Chelsea, I'm pretty sure now, we don't really have a proper left back to play. We'll probably slot Bellman in, but that's not going to be good enough against the Man United side. So I think Ericsson will score the 2 as well.
Well, I mean, the Brighton fan saying 2-0 doesn't really give me much hope about my prediction because I've gone for 2-1 to Brighton and over Albion.
Really?
2 goals for Trossard. I just believe he's got quite good confidence right now. He looks like he finishes dinner, but I think the first goal will go to Manchester United, but Brighton will spark a comeback, and I think United's goal scorer will be Jadon Sancho.
I think it's going to be a fairly different story from the 4-0 that we saw toward the end of last year. Originally, I was going to say 3-0 to United, but then I think that's a little bit unfair on Brighton, considering the number of goals they've been scoring recently. I'm going to go 3-2. I think that United will score 3.
Exciting game.
I think United will score 3, and then I reckon Brighton will fight back and get 2 later on.
Yeah, and I've actually gone for pretty much the complete opposite of Joe. I actually think it's going to be one of those ball draw games. I don't think, Brighton, obviously, with a weakened defence and in Cucurella, I think they'll be scared to push forward and they'll probably sit back a bit and make it difficult. And I think the centre-back pairings they've got, or even back three, I think they're solid enough to hold back United if they just sit deep. And I'm not convinced all of United signings will gel enough for them to be able to put a goal in. So 0-0 draw.
Right, and finally we got West Ham versus Manchester City. It's going to be a very interesting game. You can start.
I think West Ham versus City. It's going to be controversial, but I think, West Ham edge it 2-0. I think Pep's team, I saw them in the Community Shield, not much of the game, but it just didn't look very fit and ready for the Premier League start. I believe Haaland will actually have another stinker like the Community Shield, and Antonio will get both goals for West Ham.
I'm going to go for a 3-2 weekend in Manchester and say 3-2 to Man City as well. It's going to be a high score, I think. I think West Ham definitely capable of scoring. Antonio should get his name on the score sheet and maybe on the centre-backs too. I don't know why, I just got a feeling that maybe Ogbonna or someone's going to score a header. And then I think Manchester City will score 3, maybe Haaland get 1, Bernardo Silva and someone else.
Foden maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
For me, I've gone 3-1 to City. I think for West Ham, Bowen will score, and I think Haaland's going to get 2 goals and probably Bernardo as well. Who do you think, George?
Well, do you know what? I'm going to go for a shock as well with West Ham to win. I'm going to go for 2-0 West Ham, because I think we've seen at the start of the season from City before they can be sloppy at the start of the season, because they lost to Leicester last year, I believe, first game.
Tottenham.
They lost to Tottenham. They lost to Leicester the season before that, both of the first game of the season. It's not out there for City to lose first game of the season to a decent club like that.
Yeah.
So I think West Ham, they're just such a good unit under David Moyes, and I'm going to go for an early Bowen goal. Actually, no, I'm going to go for Ben Rama to score with a Bowen assist. And I also think that the new boy, Skamaka, will score a late goal after coming on and finish it off around the 80th minute and give West Ham the first season's win against City.
Well, that ends our first 10 match-up predictions for the Premier League, and I think we should all say like and subscribe because
every little helps. Thanks for watching.